What to pack or not to pack? There's the question, and I'll try to help you with the answers.
I don't want to be Shakespearean here, but it's sort of it. The thing is, if you move to another country, it depends how you're gonna travel. Okay, if you actually travel with few luggages, yeah, the not to pack is very huge. If you travel with a full container, that might be different. Okay, it's all about, are you able to sell whatever you're not bringing or give it away to friends or family before you leave. Now, if the answer is yes, and the stuff that you could buy over there is actually easy, cheap, and accessible, then I recommend that you give the stuff away that you really don't need. In my case, for example, right now in this house, I have my bookshelf, which I've had all over the world. I don't exactly know why I keep carrying them, to be honest with you. They're quite of an hindrance. But I cannot, like resolve myself to leave it. And it looks good in my living room or wherever, my library, when I have a big house like here. It looks good. On the other end, tools, okay? These I might not always bring because right now I live in New York. If I go back, let's say, to Europe, okay, I can easily buy tools in Europe. They're good quality as well. And also they're 220, and the drill bits and also a lot of things like that will not work with my American equipment. My batteries, for example, if I have like a full load of Milwaukee tools. Well, I've carried them. I couldn't use them when I was in Europe. I couldn't buy new batteries. When I was returning to Canada, I was buying batteries because there was no way to buy them over there. My fridge, my stove, my things like that I always bring because it's easy to adapt your house to 220 or 110 electricity. I have a bunch of videos on how to do it and the technique that I use to make sure I don't blow stuff up. So that's fine. But other things like your barbecue, for example, you might not, the rules for basically the gas lines, or especially the tanks or the barbecue itself, you may not be able to find exactly the right plug, maybe metric versus imperial or different standards around the world. They may not allow you to plug it in according to the rules or the laws, or find tanks that actually match that. So you may end up carrying a barbecue which takes a lot of space in your container, only to not being able to use it when you're over there. So that's something you want to really check. Scuba diving tanks, same thing. It's not a problem, din versus yoke, you can easily adapt that. However, North American tanks are not allowed to be filled in Europe. And European tanks not allowed to be filled in North America. So if you have them, you're screwed. I have a bunch of tanks in my garage. Yeah, I carried them because exactly what I was saying at the very beginning of this video. Are you able to sell them or give them away to friends before you leave? In my case, I could not. I had no friends that were divers in my last country. And I was doing a lot of diving in Lebanon. It was great. I was living right by the water, but so I used my tanks. But when I decided to leave, I left quite fast. Didn't have time to give them away, and I couldn't sell them for any good price. So I carried them with me. Now they're here, I can't use them. That's okay, I'm gonna move soon and I'll use them again. But that's the kind of things that you want to think about. Electricity, if it's something high powered, something that requires a lot of amperage, your hair blower, for example, you might not be able to use it because you cannot convert the 110 to 220 or the 220 to 110 at the very high amperage. So my hair dryer, for example, my wife's hair dryer will take, let's say, it's actually not nice, it's 1500 watt, sorry, 1500 watt, 9.1 amp. So I cannot find any sort of energy converter that will convert as high as this, unless it's like commercial, and now we're talking about like a few $1,000s to have a commercial one, which is ridiculous because the blower probably worth like 50 bucks, right? So that's the same thing with anything that demands a lot in energy, like an iron, for example. So unless you can convert the house, like I've done here in the US, I bought the house, so I converted it to 220, 110, a lot of outlets, and of course it cost me quite a bit of money, but it's okay. I mean, it's the cost of not using my wine cellar and my refrigerators and stuff like that. I thought it was easier for me to convert it. But that's basically all it is. What can you bring? What can you not bring? Does it need batteries or plugs or adapters that you can or cannot find easily over there? If the answer is yes, bring it. Another thing too, if you move to China, for example, try to understand one thing, or any countries like that. The Chinese, okay, they manufacture things locally for local Chinese. They're not the same as what they manufacture and export to North America. Best example for that, I had a friend of mine who had an Audi A6 in Canada, and basically the car is very high quality. It really feels like a luxury car. Well, they do produce an Audi A6 for China. It really feels like a cheap, like old, like 10-year-old Civic, Honda Civic. Okay, they just don't produce it with the same material because, of course, Chinese don't have as much money to buy it. They cannot afford $100,000 for a car. They can afford $25,000, fine. So the car actually has the feel of a cheap car, despite the fact it's the same brand. So, and the same model, to be honest. So that's it. So that's the kind of thing. So if you move there, don't think, oh, I'm gonna sell everything before I move. No, a lot of your stuff actually worth a lot of money over there. So that's the thing. Like IKEA, sounds ridiculous. I sold some of my IKEA furniture in the Middle East, in Dubai, for more than I had paid it 5 years ago. Because for them, it's so unique. So that, yeah, it's worth a lot of money. So, you know, what to pack, what not to pack will depend on these factors. So I hope that was helpful. And before you move, if you have any questions, just ask. I'm on the podcast, or just send me a message here and I'll reply to you. If not, go to mariostinger.com. I have a lot of information. Take care. If you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to our channel and visit our website, mariostinger.com, where we have tons of videos on how to travel all over the world. I'm pouring all the knowledge and experience I've acquired over the past 15 years traveling and living everywhere on Earth. Pursue the dream. There's nothing better than just exploring our world. There's so much to see, and doing it as a perpetual traveler is an amazing thing, and you can do it too.